Hey folks, how are you all doing? Hi Red Wine, you're the only person I can see right now, so okay, how are you? It is lovely to see you. Oh, Simon, um, Simon from the Hermit's Cave is here. He said hello before I got here. Yeah, do you know, I was like, kind of a look, I was like, is there a comment that I've missed or something? Hi Robert, how are you? How is everyone? It has been a long ass week up here in Scotland, let me tell you. It has been roasty toasty. Honestly, I feel like I'm just going to turn into a puddle at some point. Um, yeah, it's not great at all. In Scotland, we're always the same. We're always complaining about the weather. We're never happy. It's always either too hot or too cold. Um, so yeah, it has been a struggle. So where you see me just now, this is where I work as well. This is what my study, and I've got my own computer here as well. Uh, and I wonder if I can show you actually without disconnecting the camera. We'll see how this goes, right? So here, so you can see like this is just all like glass doors, yeah. Obviously, I can shut the blinds, and I've had to do that. I've had to like completely shut out the sun. But if I turn you around further, you can kind of like, can't because of the reflection. Um, I'm trying to show you. You can kind of see it. There's like a big giant bay window in the living room over there as well. Um, so yeah, this room is like a sauna, so it is. So yeah, the heat's been kind of difficult this week. I'm not going to lie, but I don't want to spend ages moaning about the hot weather because we don't get it very often. So I'll leave it there. I'll just leave you with that initial thought. Um, Hi, Aquamarine, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you. You're doing okay. Pink Divination, lovely to see you as well. Welcome. Laurie's here. Hi, Laurie. Robin is here as well. Says hi all. Hi, Chris and all. I'm out in the park today. It's sunny and it's about 77 degrees. So, because I've got a temperature probe thing set up in my snake tank, I know that it was, and I've got it set to Fahrenheit because for some reason I know the snake temperatures in Fahrenheit better than I do in Celsius. But it was 88 degrees in my living room earlier on today. And that's just the ambient temperature. That's not the bit of the snake tank that's heated. That's the cool end. So I was a wee bit worried about my corn snake, but she seems absolutely fine, to be honest with you. Because, you know, her hot side is meant to be about 86, and then she's obviously meant to have a cool side as well. So the whole tank became her hot side, which, I mean, she's fine anyway. She's out and about and being nosy and stuff, so we're all good. But yeah, 88 degrees, can you believe it? Deanne is listening and driving. Oh, nice. Where are you driving to, Deanne? It's hot in Edinburgh too. Late home, been with a friend in the pub. Oh, that sounds lovely. That just sounds amazing. I finished work today and I went and cleared the kitchen, fed the dog, and picked my husband up. He was working in the office today, so I picked him up from town. And then we had some dinner. And that's pretty much been my day. That's pretty much been my week, to be honest with you. Um, Not really been doing much. Uh, Cheyenne's here. Hi, Cheyenne. How are you? Marita or Marita. Do you know, I, I've been calling you Marita, but everyone else pronounces it Maruta. So, going to tell me, is it Marita or Maruta? One or two, or is it something different entirely? uh, 70 degrees here in Nottingham, and it's 9 p.m. Yeah, I think it's cooled down. I think it's cooler than 70 now. Or I could be wrong. I've got the fan going, so it's fine. Um, was there anything I wanted to actually remember and tell you? I wanted to do a wee channel shout out for, I think it's Kimmy at Taro Say What. Um, this is a great wee channel. He just does like he kind of does readings and he does some deck walkthroughs and stuff. But he's such a kind of a gentle, like lovely, nice wee energy. So he is. Um, and yeah, I like going over and watching his stuff. He just seems like a nice guy. You say it the right way, Chris. That's one of the reasons I love your chats. Oh, good. That makes me feel good. I feel very smug, just as well the window's open because it's getting smug in here. Um, so yeah, please check out Kimmy at Taro Say What. Hit the subscribe button on his channel. Let's get his subscribership up a wee bit. Be a nice wee surprise for him when he next checks it or wakes up or whatever. Um, and yeah, check out some of his videos. You just get such an infectious energy, I think. Um, Chris, I don't picture you driving. What type of car do you have? Yeah, I've been driving since I passed my test in 2018, Robin. So I've not been driving that long, considering that I'm 34. Um, so yeah, I think I was 29 when I passed my test, so that's quite late. But yeah, I drive. Sandy doesn't, so I am the designated driver in the relationship. Um, I drive a Nissan Note, which my best friend Robbie, he's a car person. I probably said this before actually. But he's like a car geek. Like I sit and watch like tarot and painting videos and art videos on YouTube. He watches car videos, right? He's got like a custom made some sort of BMW. Um, I don't even know what type of car it is he drives. That's terrible. I hope he's not like listening. Sometimes he pops in and he listens in the background. Um, but yeah, he's got like this big fancy schmancy car that talks to him and keeps him safe and all that. And then I've got like a wee 2012 uh, Nissan Note. He says it's a granny car that I drive. Um, so yeah, but my wee car does the job. It gets me from A to B, and I'm really not I'm not a car person at all. I never have been. And the thought of having to like pay 200, 300, even more pounds a month on like a brand new car, no, no, you're all right, thanks. Um, Rachel's here. Hi, Rachel. How are you doing? Is it Laura? Have I remembered that right? Because I was watching a video recently, Laura, where you were saying Laura as though it's like confirmed. I might just be giving you a completely wrong name, but Aquamarine 18, potentially Laura, says it's 75 degrees here in central Ontario. Nice day after lots of rain. Have the kind of a is the air kind of a cleared up? Um, yes, it's Laura. Right, good. Is the air cleared up? Is that situation doing a lot better now, Laura? Because I know that you guys were struggling with the fires and the air pollution and stuff. Like it was only like couple of weeks back, wasn't it? So I hope that situation's improved vastly. Here in SD, it is 85 currently. Do you know what my fan should tell me what degrees it is? Maybe I need to turn it off. 27 degrees Celsius. So actually, what's 27 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? Celsius and Fahrenheit. What's 80? 80.6. So there you go. That's exactly what it is. Oh, didn't know that was yeah, 80.6 here. So yeah, Debbie from Aquarius. Oh, hi Debbie. How you doing? Lovely to see you. Tarot Destiny. I'm new to this chat. I'm in Illinois, USA, and it's 87 here right now. It's 3 in the afternoon. I am so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you're in Central Time, is that right? Um, and hi, welcome. It's lovely to have you here, Tarot Destiny. Thanks very much for popping in. Uh, Red Wing, I got my motorbike license at 35. I don't drive cars. Oh, very fancy. Very fancy indeed. Cheyenne, it's 72 and raining in my neck of the woods in Colorado. We're all just talking about the temperature now. It is 70 in Cleveland, but it's only 4 p.m. Let's see. We are supposed to get rain later today, says Laurie. Pamela's here. Hi, Pamela. Regina is here. Hi, Regina. Hope you're doing okay. So he drives a fancy schmancy. I hear that's a desirable sort. That's the extent of my car knowledge. Yeah, yeah. It's like been custom made, and like shipped over from wherever it came from, wherever the BMW is. I don't know. Germany. I don't know. What's BMW? Um, God, if he can hear me right now, I'll be cringing to his core, so he will, because he's very kind of a car proud, and um, I'm probably shaming the family name right now. It was very, very bad air quality with smoke where I am for a while, but we're good now. Some areas up north of me are still bad. Ah, right, okay. I've got so I think Malamere is in. No, is it Toronto or Ontario? Oh gosh, I don't. That's terrible. I've just sent something to Malamere as well. I should know this. Literally just it's this week, last week maybe, sent something to Malamere, so I should really know where what part of the country they're in. But anyway, it's in Canada somewhere. Um, yeah, I was talking to her about it, so yeah, I'm glad it's clearing up where you are, but it sucks for the people that are up north that are still going through it. 73 degrees, says Deanne, and the sky is one big storm cloud in Michigan. Michigan, not Michigan, which I learned recently. 76 in North Carolina. 80 Fahrenheit in Alabama. Biking days over here. Oh, sorry, biking days are over, but now I've got my bus pass. Thing. um, let's see. Seems to be a lot of rain all across. I love the rain. I hope that the fan isn't making a noise in my microphone, by the way, because it's oscillating and it turns and blows in this direction every now and then. So let me know if it's creating a noise. Look at that. Speak of the devil, and she shall appear. I was just talking about you. All good things, I promise. No, I was talking to Laura. Actually, it's not. It's absolutely terrible. I couldn't remember what part of Canada you're in, which is bad because you're my friend and I should know this. But it's also bad because I've literally just sent you something which you know about. I'm not spoiling any surprises, so I should know where you are. I should know what part of Canada you're in, but I couldn't decide whether it was Ontario or Toronto. Maybe they're the same place. Maybe one is within the other. I don't know. My geography sucks. Um, we've already had triple digits. That is unusual this time of year. We don't usually see those until August. Oof, jeez. Um, you traded your motorbike for a bus pass. I hear that, says Robin. um, okay. I used to live in Toronto and then moved to Kingston, which is still in Ontario, right? Okay. So, yeah, so I was going to say I was kind of right, but I'm giving myself too much credit there. Deanne is still driving, but says hello to everyone. So hello from Deanne at Blue Crescent Tarot. Right, okay. So last week we had a wee bit of a chat about, I called it turning the tarot on its head, but I feel as though I need to come up with a catchier name for it. Um, One that rolls off the tongue a wee bit nicer. But so the idea is we start off with an emotion or a feeling, like a concept. We start off with something that the tarot might talk to us about. So, for example, last week it was jealousy. And we think, right, how might the tarot speak to us about that? What cards might it use to signify that to us? So it's kind of a reversing the process. We're used to kind of a turning over a tarot card and looking at it and saying, right, what does this mean? Extracting the meaning from it. But and it's turned out to be quite an interesting exercise. We're reversing the process. We're starting with the thing. Um, and we can do this with anything, it can be, like I say, it can be an emotion, but it could be an event as well. Do you know what I mean? It could be a circumstance. It could be anything, anything that the tarot might talk to us about. We can do this with. Um, but yeah, what cards might the tarot use to talk about this theme? Last week was jealousy, and that was really interesting because there was lots of different kind of views on that and lots of different kind of a card suggestions. And it's interesting when we get to talk about, why do we think that card means that thing? So this week, because it's Pride Month, I thought, well, why don't we talk about pride? Um, Pride is maybe a wee bit more like, there's some cards where I would immediately think, right, okay, pride is that card. If there's going to be a pride card, then it's going to be that. But at the same time, it's interesting because, like, pride's, it can be like we can talk about it in a really positive way, or, pride can be a negative thing, you know? Um, so it's one of those things that you can take either way. So I'm interested to hear what cards you think um, signify pride, if this was the exact same scenario that I painted last week. But if you're doing your Celtic cross, right, and you've got a certain situation with your first two cards, and then your basis card, if you use card 3, is down below in the basis. You know, if the basis that you're expecting to see, what has caused me to be in this situation, or what has led to this, or what's feeding this, what is the basis of this question? If you're expecting to see something saying pride, your sense of pride, positive or negative, what card would you expect to be in that third position? So before I kind of look at the comments, I'm not sure. I've not seen Beth from Aspasia Rising. Um, Beth commented on my video earlier on, and I really liked what she had to say. So I wanted to kind of read it out, and I did get her permission to do this. Um, okay. She said, I might miss it or I might come in late because my dog has a vet appointment. I think pride is an attribute that has class and gender discrepancies built into it. It can be a bad thing, i.e., sinful, for poorer people and for women, akin to vanity and ambition, but is accepted and running rampant in white cis male culture, for example, kings and political leaders. The Hierophant telling certain people not to be prideful is weaponized to keep them in their place. Maybe I've just had too much coffee. So the cards that Beth had suggested were the Emperor, the Nine of Cups, and the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith pack, so the John Travolta card, and the Six of Wands. So for me, the Six of Wands, when I was thinking about this, the Six of Wands was the card that came to my mind first. It's that kind of a victory march, isn't it? It's the kind of a, you know, look how well I've done type thing, everyone's celebrating me. That is a card that's teeming with pride. Um, and when we think about the shadow aspects of that card, that might be where maybe the more negative connotations of pride might come out. Um, So yeah, definitely I see the Six of Wands. Really interesting what she had to say about the Emperor and the Nine of Cups as well. Um, Let me see. Oh, Laura says to Malamere, we're neighbours. I've lived in Kingston from '05 to '09. There you go. So Marita's suggesting conceptual tarot talk. Tony's here, says evening all. What's tonight's prompt? It's pride. I should maybe I put a wee banner or something. But hopefully it'll be clear as the chat moves on. Um, the Six of Wands, of course, says Marita. Robin says pride, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Cups. Interesting that Nine of Cups as well, because the Nine of Cups, like I get that traditional image of the guy sitting with his 9 cups behind him. That is very prideful, but prideful, is that a word? It is now. Um, but I mean, we normally associate that with the fulfillment card or the wish card, don't we? Like normally we think of that as like we're getting what we want, like we've wanted it for a long time and finally we're going to get our wish. Or, our cup runneth over, we're very emotionally fulfilled, that water energy is just really at its kind of a peak, its highest point. Um, so I mean, when I think of the meaning of that card, it's not something that I would immediately have attached pride to. So I think it's really interesting that both you and Beth right away have said that 9 of cups. The 9 of pentacles, I definitely get it. She's sitting with her she's sitting with all of her kind of, I suppose, worldly riches, the things that I mean, let's be fair, it's things that she's worked hard for, and she's, through discipline and commitment, it's all her accomplishments. There's definitely there's a sense of pride in that, in a really positive sense. Um, Tony says the Six of Wands, pride, or the Seven of Swords. Right, okay, so, right, okay, interesting. Tell me more about the Seven of Swords. Robin says the Seven of Pentacles. Okay. Again, tell me more. Um, expand. Tell me what you're thinking with regards to the Seven of Pence. 9 of Pentacles says Cheyenne, the King of Pentacles. Okay. I get it. I think with all of the kings, we could probably attach that sense of pride to, just because of, I suppose, because of their position as kings. They are very, by their nature, they're very accomplished individuals. So you can imagine there being a sense of pride there. The Emperor as well, which is Beth had also mentioned. Uh, the Rider-Waite Smith, 8 of Pentacles. So this idea of having taken pride in your work. Probably the Emperor, says Marita. Laura says the King of Swords, maybe, in a he knows it all kind of way. Right, okay, yeah, the King of Swords, aye, so yeah, like he's very kind of a proud of his own kind of a knowledge, and um can maybe come across a wee bit stuck up sometimes, I think, the King of Swords, because sometimes I think the King of Swords doesn't really have much, like, he can be very devoid of tact, or, lacks a filter, because he can lack that emotional touch, the King of Swords. So I can imagine, you know, dealing with someone like that, they would come across as, with a great sense of pride, maybe not in the best way. Zane's here. Hi, Zane. How you doing? Marita says, yes, prideful, but I always saw the Nine of Cups as a giving person, wanting to share his bounty. Yeah, cool. The Nine of Cups is sort of haughty pride, a show off. Right, okay, interesting. So, I mean, like, what am I trying to think of? What I'm trying to say is, if I was designing a tarot deck myself, I don't think that I would attach, or I would intentionally attach that meaning to the Nine of Cups. It's not what I think of when I think Nine of Cups. But the Smith Waite Nine of Cups definitely has that feel. And I think because of that, because there's so many decks that have kind of been inspired by the Smith Waite, I think there's so many decks these days that display that kind of a show-offy night feel in the Nine of Cups. And it's funny because I would question whether that was really Pamela Coleman Smith's intention when she drew it. It's an interesting subject. It's like, this is an aside. I'm going off on a tangent here, but it's an interesting thing to think about, right? Because there's probably a fair few cards in that deck, in the Smith-Waite deck, where Pixie didn't mean to depict the card as it's now commonly taken. But because it's such a, there's so many decks that take inspiration from it, or that pretty much, duplicate it, or, you know, just there are so many different Rider-Waite Smiths out there. Like there's what I'm getting at is that there's so many of them that even though it wasn't her intention, it's such a kind of a influential deck that it's almost made it mean that now. Do you see what I mean? So I'm thinking of things like, last week we were talking about that Seven of Pentacles and how like that's like the Lord of Failure. Um that's the Golden Dawn association. It's kind of like when you're putting all your effort into something and you get very little out of it. So in that way, it's a kind of failure. It's like wasted effort type thing. That was the Golden Dawn, or a very kind of a basic explanation of what the Golden Dawn meaning for the Seven of Pentacles was. And if I'm honest, I think that's probably what Pamela Coleman Smith was intending to depict. We talked about all this last week, but because we don't necessarily see that in the card, or I don't think most people see that in that card, it's almost morphed the meaning of the card just in general now. Do you know what I mean? It's really quite interesting to think about, and I suppose it just speaks to how influential Pixie's deck is, doesn't it? Right, that's my rant over. That's a, I suppose that's really a topic for another day, isn't it? Um, let's see. Laura says the Eight of Pentacles, taking pride in one's work. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. The Seven of Pentacles, pride in one's harvest. Yep. The Seven of Swords, Tony says pride in doing someone a misdemeanor or beating the opposition at their own game. Okay, that's interesting. So that kind of um pride that you're talking about, that kind of a pride and basically being a bit dickish, being a bit of a dickhead. See, I hear what you're saying, but to me, it sounds like you're describing the Five of Swords rather than Seven of Swords. To me, Tony, that kind of a like taking a lot of kind of a pride and delight in someone else's misfortune or failure, or it almost would it verges on cruelty. That feels very Five of Swords to me. Do you know what I mean? I can't think of a gay pride card. Okay. So when we talk about gay pride, like what does pride mean in that context? For me, it's about being proud of who you are, being proud of the person that you are despite your differences, despite that maybe um, that maybe society doesn't view you with the same kind of a in the same positive light. Despite all that, it's still having pride in yourself. Um, so so what card might depict that sense of kind of a pride and um, security in you as a person? Um, a sense of pride in yourself. What do we think? This is Pepsi Max with lime in it, by the way, in case everyone's wondering why in case you think I'm drinking a hot drink in this heat, I'm not. It's Pepsi Max. But Sandy gave me it in a smaller cup because he says that I can't be trusted with a big cup of juice because apparently I never finish them, which is true when we're in restaurants, actually. I'm terrible for not finishing my juice when I'm in a restaurant. Deanne suggesting the Three of Cups, Six of Wands as well. I think of the Knight of Wands as sort of standing proud. Yeah, definitely Knight of Wands has an element of pride about him. Doing great, Malamir. Oh, sorry. The Queen of Wands. See, to be honest, right, all of the Wands courts, there's lots of the Wands cards that, to me, do depict pride in some way, shape, or form. And that takes me on to so my card of the day, and this wasn't pulled with the intention of, I wasn't asking the cards like how would you depict pride? Every morning I pull a Smithwick card and I pull a soul card to go with it. And this morning's cards actually just turned out to be really interesting in terms of the, depicting what pride is and how would you show me pride. So the Smith Waite card that I got was the Five of Wands. Um, so I'm thinking of this as, well, think about all these people. They're all kind of so caught up in their own energy and their own thing that they're doing. No one's stopping to think, right, actually, if we come together and work as a team, direct our wands in the same way, direct our energies towards the same thing, we could actually probably really accomplish something here. And I think it's that sense of, that pride, that sense of pride in yourself. And maybe sometimes when you've got so much pride in yourself, it stops you from being able, it kind of clouds your vision a wee bit, doesn't it? It can put the blinkers on you and it can stop you from being able to kind of empathize and see things from others' point of view and maybe just think sensibly about certain things that are happening. So I definitely think that this is it's a good card. The tarot did well today for me. I think that I can definitely understand the kind of the pridefulness in these five characters. And I suppose the depiction it's maybe one of the more negative kind of a connotations of pride and the results that it can reap. Is this idea of everyone's clashing off of one another. No one's actually getting anywhere or achieving anything. It's that kind of a misfiring of fire, that misfiring. And then the soul card that I got was this. So if you're not familiar with the soul cards, there's actually two of them. There's Soul Cards 1 and Soul Cards 2. They are decks by Deborah Koff Chapin. In fact, I've got the boxes somewhere here. I can maybe show you. No, they're not immediately available. But yeah, there's no assigned meanings to these cards. They don't have titles or anything like that. They're all just images, and the idea is you read the cards, how you want to, how you see fit, what does it suggest to you. So when I first pulled this morning, before I was even thinking about pride or anything like that, I was thinking, I thought, well, this is like to me, these could be two beings on different kind of levels of existence. So for example, this could be someone contacting one of the loved ones that's passed or something like that. That they're on two different kind of vibrations or different they're on different levels that way. And I get that just from the color difference. There's all this light here, and this is a very kind of a dark energy that's down here. So to me, that suggests that they're on two different kind of levels, whether it's like, someone who's alive and someone who's passed, whether it's like the person and their higher self, maybe. Um, but and then you've got this kind of this. I see that as a flower with the petals. But you've got this object that's almost like connecting them. That the higher being is communicating with the lower being through. So I was like, right, okay, well, is this talking about like, tarot? Like, for example, a lot of people view tarot and cartomancy as a method of getting in touch with your higher self. So this could be depicting that. So anyway, I had all these thoughts before I was even thinking about pride, but then I thought, right, okay, well, what about pride? So then I thought, right, okay, well, this could be showing someone who's created something beautiful. Um, and they're proud of it. They want to show it off to other people around about them, or maybe it was created, from their, they were inspired from their by their muse, or again their higher self, or however you like to kind of think about these things. Um, but it's about being proud of the things that we've achieved and we've created. So this is maybe a more positive depiction of pride here. But I'm interested in your thoughts. Let's see. Robin, the Ten of Cups has a rainbow. Just need a same-sex couple. Uh, the King of Swords, because pride is a mental activity. The Five of Swords might be negative pride. The guy is so smug about winning in Pixie's deck. Yeah. The Queen of Wands, because she gets what she wants and she knows it, says Cheyenne. Absolutely. Yeah. I think did I say earlier on, I think any of the Wands courts could quite easily depict pride or come across as very prideful. Um, Deanne says everyone go and sub to Cheyenne. Absolutely. If you can pop a link to her channel in the chat, that would be great. She was living in a completely different society, says Robert. She was. I think the Three of Pentacles could be proud of what they're building. Yeah, yeah. And there's that sense of kind of a coming together, that real collective kind of a pride as well in the Three of Pents, isn't there? The Nine of Cups is like arms crossed, his chest, like, look what I've got and you don't have and you can't have it. Almost akin to the Four of Pentacles. Yeah. The sun and the star feel like they contain some pride too, says Marita. Was just talking to people about the Three of Swords and the evolution of meaning there, especially with Eden Grey's interpretation and everything thereafter. Yeah, so yeah, I agree, and I think you can say that about a lot of the Swords cards. Like I don't quite know what it is that's caused it, because as much as the Solar has that Three of Swords for the swords through the heart, there's also an element of, the playing card spades that might have fed into some of a lot of the more negative connotations of the swords cards now. But yeah, agreed. The Seven of Wands could be defending their pride. Yep. The two opposites of pride, says Tony. Not omitting parts of yourself, says Deanne. Gay pride, maybe the Page of Wands, says Robin. The Star, follow your own light and path. That's nice. I like that. I was going with the Six of Wands too, says Pamela. To me, LGBT pride is more like defiance. We're here and we're not going anywhere. And we think that we're pretty great. Maybe the Seven of Wands. Yeah, absolutely. Is it Poppy Palin's deck that depicts the Seven of Wands as a protest, and pride as a protest? That was how it started. So yeah, I'm all for that. The Ten of Wands on the way to the Gay Pride Parade. Yeah, carrying your banners and all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Um, the Eight of Wands definitely has direction. Yeah. Lots of duels fought because of wounded pride, says Marita. One is welcoming the other. to come out into the light. Pride. Oh yeah, this one. This yeah. That's nice. I like that. Yeah, and you could also see that as like accepting. When Robin's talking about like you know LGBTQ pride. Accepting different parts of yourself. Okay, so this could maybe be the part of ourselves that's we kind of show to the world that's out in the light, and this could be the the deeper, darker part of ourselves that we hide away. I'm sure we've all got a bit of ourselves that we kind of don't show to the world, or we only show certain parts of the world where we know will be accepted. Um, but that idea of like you say, one is kind of a coaxing the other to come out. Um, yeah, I like that. That was nice, Nancy. That made me think. The lover's card could be gay pride if you ignore the genders, or maybe the Three of Cups lesbian celebration. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, you could see it that way. Hershey says, hello everyone. Hi Hershey, how you doing? See, we've got a wee link to Cheyenne's channel there, so pop along and give her a wee subscribe. And listen to Cheyenne's voice. Does she not sound like Elle from Sacred Seed? Just further in the shout out you gave her the other day. Thanks, Chris. Oh, you're welcome. If we want to descend to the base, the Ace of Wands may be proud of their staff. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a staff to be proud of. I'll put it that way. Um, yeah, just the words in the book change from positive, mind over matter, essentially, to negative. Eden Grey, do you mean? Uh, Tony says 9:40 time check. 9:42 on my screen, so I'm not too far behind. Uh, Deanne says, Chris, I missed whose channel you mentioned earlier. It was Kimmy from Tarot Say What. In fact, it's maybe still in my clipboard. Yeah, I've posted that again. It wasn't. I was talking about Beth because she left that comment about pride in the cards that she associates to it. I was in a tarot history rabbit hole the other day, says Deanne, right? Do you know, I've never read Eden Grey's book. Um, is, is it one that I should get? Like, is it one of those ones where you're like, every tarot kind of a enthusiast should really at least have it on their shelf, kind of like 78 Degrees of Wisdom and, Holistic Tarot and things like that. Uh, you caught up spectacularly. Thank you. I'm getting there. I'm getting all right with these old comments with that old chestnut. Um, to me, the sun is pride. Let yourself shine. Yeah. Is it Kenny? Oh, I've been calling him Kimmy. I thought he says Kimmy from Tarot Say What, but Kenny. Maybe it is Kenny. I feel silly now. Um, I've reached the end of the comments. Go me. What tarot decks are we all working with this week, by the way? Does anyone kind of tend to look out more of their pride centered tarot decks at this time of year, or do we just kind of work with whatever we feel like working with? So today I have on my deck. Well, I was working with the Numinous Tarot first of all. Um, I was pulling cards from this earlier on. I love this deck, and this deck riffle shuffles like last week I was saying about how the queer tarot, the cards are really kind of a your hands get really sore riffle shuffling it. I was just talking about this when I was talking to people earlier on. Um, this is the opposite. This is a dream to riffle shuffle. The cards are so like nice and bendy, and you can do what you want with them, and they don't get like horribly bent out of place or anything. They keep their shape quite well. So this is a great deck for that. Um, let's see. I'm using the Black Light Tarot a lot this month. It says Malamere with a black light. Oh, nice. Seasonal feels, bright ones for June, says Tony. I don't have Eden's book, so I can't say. I was listening to Vincent. Ah, okay. Is that the Numinous Tarot with the new cardstock? They changed it. It used to be glossy and now it's linen. Yeah, this one's linen, Laura. I got this. When did I get this? Maybe about a year ago, I want to say. Oops. And so throw it over the desk. So yeah, this is beautiful, kind of a, you know, let me just, I'll turn on the light so you can actually see. Yeah, this is kind of a beautiful, you can see there's no gloss at all. It's lovely linen cardstock. I don't know if I can hold it in such a way where you can actually see but it's one of those ones where you can actually see the kind of a linen. And when I don't know if you can hear that, but that way linen has that nice sound when you rub the cards together. So yeah, this is the beautiful linen cardstock. And whilst we've got it out, let's just don't you just love that? And my hands aren't even sore. Um, so yeah, that's the Numinous Tarot by Cedar MacLeod. I don't want to mispronounce their name, therefore I'll just throw out two pronunciations so that I've definitely mispronounced it. Good job. Right. The Fyodor Pavlov deck, says Nancy. You're working with that. Tony is working with the Spectral Whirl. I think someone was talking about that recently. Deanne, were you showing it when we went live together? Is that where I'm getting it from? Or was maybe Malamir, were you talking about Spectral Whirl? Someone was, I've seen it recently, and I can't remember where. My latest edition is the Chinese tarot deck. It's old though, from 2002, says Marita. Laura is tempted to get the linen one. I like that Numinous so much. It's so young and joyful feeling. Yeah, it is. It's really nice, and I really love the artwork as well. I was really thinking about that today when I was using it. Like the artwork is beautiful, I think. Um, the only thing about it for me is sometimes it's not immediately obvious what's going on. I pulled the Seven of Bells today, which is like the Seven of Cups, and I suppose that it's not a bad thing. It's actually quite a good thing because it makes you think. But I actually had to look up the description and see. I'll show you whilst I'm yapping on about it because I pulled it twice. Like I was doing a reading for someone and I did two spreads, and the Seven of Bells, along with a few other cards, came up twice. Um, right now, just bear with me whilst I try. Oh, there it's there. Near the top and everything. So here's the Seven of Bells card, which is like the Seven of Swords, by the way. The suit of bells is the suit of swords. Um, but at first I was like, what is this thing? Is this like a carpet that this person's just thrown that they're wafting up? Is this like some weird alien-esque sea creature type thing? Because these look like they could be like what do you call that that whales have? The whales that don't have teeth, they have, oh, I forget what it is. You know, some whales don't have teeth. They've got like the weird kind of a stuff that looks like that. I forget what the technical term is. Um, but no, what it actually is. So this is the shadow of this person, and this is like basically we're just seeing the bottom of their dress, and this is their shadow here, and it's basically like a dancer on stage. This is their dress, and this person is cutting one of the bells off of their dress. Um, And in the guidebook, it talks about, you know, the usual kind of a dishonesty, you know, somebody might be trying to kind of a fuck with you basically. But it also talks about like gaslighting and things like that. So it brings, or gaslighting's probably not a more modern meaning at all, but I think of it as modern just because I only recently found out what it was. um, but it brings more current themes, I guess, is what I'm saying, into the deck that you might not or I might not have otherwise thought of when I see this card. So it's interesting. Um, but yeah, the point is, I love the artwork. Yeah, let me just. There we go. So we're all loving the linen. I have Dreamkeeper's Tarot in Linen, says Malamir. Deanne, did you see the Joker Tarot from Los Scarabeo is released to back? Um, so just seen it today. Dreamkeepers is linen, nice to know, says Hershey. Labanco Tarot this month for me, says Laura. That's interesting. I've seen the Labanco Tarot, and when I first saw it, I think it was either on Little Red Tarot. In fact, yeah, I think it was on Little Red Tarot, and I thought, "Ooh, that looks nice." But I've never went and pushed the buy button on it, and I'm not really sure what it is that's stopping me. Uh, but I don't know. Maybe you've just inspired me to check it out some more. So Spectral World wasn't me, says Deanne. Pamela says I'm enjoying living in the Gaian tarot right now. Nice. Uh, I'm working with a recolored RWS, says Cheyenne. I got the Chinese tarot to go with my Auspicious Symbols Oracle deck, says Marita. Has anyone seen, I was talking to Simon about this earlier on, has anyone seen the Practical Magic Inner Witch tarot? Um, that's an interesting deck. It's quite, it's nice. It's quite minimalistic. Is that a fair term to use? Like it's not jam packed with symbolism. It's kind of a Rider-Waite Smith inspired, but it takes from the symbolism of the Rider-Waite Smith. I wouldn't say that you wouldn't look at it and think, oh yeah, that's a Smith-Waite deck, you know, a Smith-Waite replica or something. But it kind of is inspired by the symbolism, and it's like it's one of those lovely decks that's got like the black backgrounds with the bright colours that properly pop out. I first saw it when I was at the kind of at the goth market thing in Glasgow city centre. The tarot person that you know she had a stall there that I bought the Dreamy Moons from. She had a copy of the Practical Magic Inner Witch tarot. And then I came home later that day, and Madam Adam had put a video on YouTube, or maybe he was live on Insta or something. But he was showing the deck, or he was using the deck and talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird. I've just seen that. Like, I've just seen that in person." Um, but it's an interesting deck, but I think it's quite expensive. I'm just going to like let you know. Uh, Something funded within the hour. There will be a mass market edition at some point. Uh, Malamir is going to take Gabriel out back in a bit. I hope Gabriel's doing okay, Malamir. I'll need to send you pictures of Luna, by the way. So my wee dog had a reoperation. She got spayed on Monday. So she's wearing the cone of shame to stop her from kind of a licking and getting to the wound and stuff. She's doing great. The operation went amazingly well. Everything was brilliant. The wound is looking great. It's healing really well. There's not really been anything. We were obviously on Monday. We were worried, like we just wanted her back. And I phoned at midday. I phoned at 12 p.m. and they told me that the operation all went well, and she was already kind of awake, but still quite sleepy and stuff. But I was so relieved. But that Monday morning was just torture. Um, Anyway, I digress. I hope Gabriel's doing good, was the point there. I'm enjoying the midnight edition of Wandering Moon Tarot. It's so nice, says Hershey. Beth's here. Hi, Beth. I have been talking about you. I was reading out your comment earlier on. Robin says, I've been happily using the same 4 decks every day for weeks. The Open Face, Little Monsters, Old Fellow, and the CS Tarot Mini. Very nice, Robin. Chris, you might enjoy the Hitchcock film Gaslight, 1944, the OG gaslighting experience. Really? So it's not a modern theme at all. I only recently found out what in fact, if I'm honest, it's one of those terms that I learn what it means and then it tends to fall out of my head and it takes for someone to explain it to me again. Or I need to think about it. It's a weird one. I think Dreamkeeper's Indie was linen, but not the mass market one. I have both. Speaking of linen decks, another deck that I'd kind of pulled out is I've always got to check what the name of this. I think it's the Inner Dimensions Tarot, but let me check. The title card is sitting in my spare cards box. I think it's the Inner Dimensions Tarot. You know, I'm going to have to look it up because that's terrible. I can't tell you the name of the deck or the name of the creator, so bear with me just a wee second. I've done a walkthrough of it, so I mean the information is on my channel somewhere. Yeah, yeah. Inner Dimensions Tarot by is it Asha Attitude? Shamelessly pull up my own walkthrough to get the information from. No, by Ash Groot Rosink. Um, so this has got beautiful. I think it's linen. It's either like linen or plastic or something, but it's got beautiful cardstock. I think it's linen. And it's one when you shine the light on it, I think you can really see the kind of a linen effect. See it? Look how nice is that? These are the backs of the cards, and I really love so that's like the nine of air. The images are beautiful, and they're like it's fully illustrated. It's like all beautiful images, but they're not like so tied into a particular meaning. That way. So we've got like the kind of forest fire type image for the five of fire. So that kind of fire's getting out of control, instability in the element of fire. Um, the eight of earth. So things are growing, things are abundant. The courts we've got. So the aces are sources. We don't have an ace. We've got a source. In this case, the source of earth. The courts, I think, are students, practitioners, visionaries, and masters. Yeah, so just show you student. This is available on Make Playing Cards, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. Visionaries. sure it's masters, but let me just find it. Yeah, there we go, the master of air. So instead of queen and king, we have visionary and master. And instead of page and knight, we've got the student and the practitioner. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this deck. It almost has like Mary Ale vibes for me, just because it goes in a different direction in terms of the the imagery and the meanings that you would derive from the images. It's a good one. Love the practical magic deck. It's very cool, says Beth. Poor dear for Luna, I know. Beth, the Hitchcock film Suspicion is sort of a gaslight type thing. Deanna's back. Craziest hailstorm of my life is going on here. Is it really that bad? We've had glorious weather today, so we have. We've not had a bit of rain. I mean, even just now, the sky is again. I'll try and do this gently where I'll show you. Oh, you can't really see the sky, but it's like nice blue, like nice white fluffy clouds. You know that kind of sky. Um, Love Suspicion by Hitchcock, says Beth. Until next time, everyone, sending blessings and positive vibes to all. See you later, Hershey. You enjoy the rest of your day. I hope that you enjoy it, whatever it is you're getting up to. I should put this in the Minas Tarot away. I'm going to end up with piles of decks all over the table. So, and I'm always moaning at my husband when he leaves my desk a mess. So really, I shouldn't leave it a mess myself. Pop that there. I wanted this last time you showed it, said Deanne. I knew I'd seen it somewhere. I want to date my true black, the true black tarot. Yeah, those beautiful black backgrounds with the colours that pop. See, I love these decks. See that I've got like this is another example of one. The decks that I've got, this is Tarot of the Holy Spirit, by the way. That I've got those dark, solid black backgrounds with a kind of a the way the colours pop out. Um, there's also they're not all got black backgrounds like what's that? High Priestess is but like there's like the lovers. I just love decks that have that kind of aesthetic to them. And these have got like a solid black back and the sides are black as well. It's delicious. Uh, I like your new Moony deck, Chris. Is that the Dreamy Moons Tarot? This one? Yeah, that's an actual fact. This is another such example. Um, should have done. What do we think about extra cards, by the way? I never use them in my decks. I've got such a thing. An extra card could be the most beautifully depicted, well thought out card in the world, and I will still not use it in my deck. I've just got something against them. I don't like having them in my decks. I feel as though they throw off the energy of the deck. I don't enjoy it at all. Um, does anyone else feel that way, or am I just need to get over myself and use the deck as the creator intended? Um, yeah, so this is the Dreamy Moons Tarot by Annie Tarasova is the box. And yeah, these have got like the kind of other black backs. They've got the bright bursts of colour and they've also got this kind of a gold embossing as well. So this is a beautiful deck, so it is. Although it's quite hard to see in this light, isn't it, because of the gold embossing? Um, Robin says, "I don't like extra cards either." Yeah, I've got such a I wouldn't even say a bee in a bonnet, my bonnet about it because it's like it's not like I care if anyone else uses them or I don't like have anything against creators creating them. I just don't like having them in my deck. And funnily enough, when I was using the Numinous Tarot, I realised that there's an extra card in that, and I've been using that in the deck this whole time. I've obviously just not pulled it at all, but it's called the Numinous. Um, and it brought to light the fact that I don't actually know what the word numinous means. So so that's not good. But it's a beautiful card as well. Beautiful, beautiful card. Am I going to open it and get it? No. Do you know what? Just look it up. Look up the numinous card and the numinous tarot, and you'll see what I mean. It's got the sky is gorgeous. I just don't like extra cards. Like no, just keep them out my deck. They're a little pointless, says Marita. I haven't added any to mine. Yeah, I mean, for me, right, maybe there's a bit of ego in it and a bit of pride in it, just to go back to the theme of the discussion earlier. But the whole point in tarot for me is I know tarot. I've been working with tarot for over 20 years. I know it inside out. I know it inside that sounds dead arrogant, and I really don't mean it like that. I just mean like I'm comfortable with it. I've got a certain level of comfort with it and familiarity. That's what I'm meaning. And when you put extra cards in it, unfamiliar cards, I'm like, what is this in this deck? Like all of a sudden I have to learn new things. Are you kidding? If I want to learn something new, if I want to work with something unfamiliar, I'll pull out like, I don't know, an Oracle deck or a, a Lenormand or something like that, something that I'm just learning. Um, Deanne says Robin doesn't even like the full 78. Yeah, that's a very good point. Robin with these majors only. Um, I keep my extra cards in most of the time, says Cheyenne, but that's only because I forget to take them out. Yeah, see, this is another thing. Um, and then before you know it, you've shuffled them in, and it's so much effort to get through and find them and get them out the deck again. Ugh, it's a kerfuffle, is what it is. I'm behind because of my internet slash storm. That's okay. I'm behind just because it's me, so we're probably about on a par, Deanne, to be honest. I think you're still ahead of me, to be honest, so don't worry about it. Um, I just leave them be. I forget to remove all alternate courts in a deck. Uh, Used it for a year before I oh dear. Um, Red Wing says, no offense, Robin. Now, what would you have said that would have offended Robin? Talking about the hands. No offense at all. Robin would know that. Yeah, I can't imagine that would offend Robin. I think Robin would have had a wee chuckle at that comment. Um, Robin, if you send holiday or birthday cards to friends, you can include one of those extra cards. That's true, actually. That's a good point. The Moonchild Tarot has extras. Robin, send your extras to Deanne so she can craft with them, says Pamela. That's another good idea. From the man who tackled a deep dive into the Marielle. What did I say? Just about not enjoying not being familiar with something, I suppose. But then the deep dive made me familiar with it, didn't it? But I had the Marielle for years and years and years before I did the deep dive. See, this is the thing. Like when something's unfamiliar to me, I need to work seriously hard at becoming familiar with it. I realise when I'm saying all this that I'm talking about one or two extra cards in a deck, by the way. I know that I'm being dramatic about it, and I should just, like I said at the start, I should get over myself and just work with them, but hey ho. I use extra cards often, says Laura. Not always, but often. Otherwise, they are bookmarks. Yes, that's a good idea. I like that. I've got a. It used to be an envelope, but it's now morphed into a box because there's we nearly had a situation where incense went everywhere. But yeah, I've got a box that I keep. It's like all extra cards and title cards and stuff from decks. What am I doing? I'm trying to show you this. Um, it's just like a. In fact, I probably shouldn't have done that because that'll have my address on it. Um, but yeah, this is a box that I keep like all of these kind of extra cards that you get in decks. Um, just because I like I don't like to have them in the box. I like to just in the box. I like it to be the deck that I'm working with and nothing else because then you've got to be careful not to accidentally pick it up and it's a whole thing. I don't mind so much if there's a ribbon in the box. If there's a ribbon and I can put the extra card underneath and the deck that I'm working with on top, I'm good with that. But otherwise, it goes in this box. So I've got all this collection of like extra cards, and because it stays in the cupboard with my incense, it smells lovely. But there's I've got these as well, which were the kind of extras and goodies with the Arcana playing cards, Arcana Tarot playing cards. So I better pick that up before that goes everywhere. I love opening up this cupboard because I keep like incense and candles and things like that in it, so it always smells beautiful when I open it. Um, yep, unfamiliar cards. I use my open face with my little Normans as one deck. Interesting. So a majors only plus a Lenormand deck. That is interesting. It's interesting. I would imagine that Little Normans would go really well with Robin's other deck. The what did you call it? Robin was the Google Eyes Tarot. The one that's in the same style as Little Normans, but the only thing I guess is Little Normans is much smaller than the I want to say it's the Googly Eyes Tarot or something. It's much smaller, so with the size difference, I suppose that wouldn't really work. Um, I've started removing title cards from total tarot decks. All right, okay, okay. With the total decks, I'll be honest, I don't really tend to use them that much. The only ones that I really use are the one that's like the Dirty Palm and the Marseille one. I use that. That's nice. It's kind of a little CBD. So I think I've taken the title cards out of that, but as for the other ones, they mostly just sat in there because I don't really use them anyway. So or I don't use them that often where it would be a pest. I'm constantly going in and having to fish them out. Uh, what time? We're on 10:15 already. I can talk some amount of rubbish. Don't want to learn one more thing, something like that. Yeah, I feel as though I've gotten to a point where this might be. Oh, the eyes wide tarot. Sorry, Robin. Yeah, I remember now that you say that. Um, but yeah, I was like Google Eye Tarot one of the kind of names that you were floating about for it at the start? Because I remember we were on a live together and you were kind of you were talking about names for it. Um, but yeah, what I was saying there, I feel as though I'm getting to a point where whenever I learn something new, it feels like I have to forget something. Like I've ran out of room in my head. Like that, there's no room for anything else. And if I'm learning something else, then I need to make room. So I feel as I'm always forgetting things these days. Spanner in the works, says Marita or Marita. I've no trouble with 78 cards. I have more trouble with folks who reject 22 card decks out of hand without considering them. I mean, people know what they want, don't they? So I like a majors only deck too. I don't have many of them, but I enjoy the few that I have. I think the open face tarot is the only majors only that I've got. I may well stand to be corrected on that, but I think it is. Um, I should put all my title cards in a box. It drives me crazy when I shuffle in a title card. Yeah, that's exactly why I did that, Debbie. Yeah, it totally makes sense not to want the extra cards. You're into the system as its own thing. Yeah. And the other thing is like the idea of tarot is that it's supposed to reflect the entire human experience, you know? So if that theory is correct, then or if that proposition is correct, then we shouldn't need to add new tarot card or new cards into the deck because everything's already there. So you would just be repeating, I feel. Um, and this, to be honest, that thought, I was thinking, it's been a long time since tarot came onto the scene, and I know that it evolves and stuff. But ever since it was created, when it was created, I'm sure it was a 78 card deck, and now it's still a 78 card deck, and it's still split into a major arcana and a minor arcana with the four suits. So given that it's, lasted this long, can it still reflect the entire human experience? And by the way, I think it does. I know I'm putting this in such a way where I'm coming across like Doubting Thomas. I'm not. I think it does, but it's an interesting thought, and that was what started me thinking. I thought, right, well, can I think of something that's maybe not reflected in the tarot? And that was when I thought, right, well, what about jealousy? How does the tarot talk about jealousy? And that was why we started with this whole shebang last week. So that was how I started down that kind of a route, just in case you want to know how my brain works. You all need to get into the Ali Facebook group and send your extras to people. Um, I have empty boxes just because Patrick Valenza drew fish inside them. Probably perfect for storage of extra cards. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the Eyes Wide, the Lonely Dreamer Tarot. Sorry, the Lonely Dreamer latest has like 6 extra cards, says Beth. Um, Triumph Illustrated has like 8 damn devils to choose from. Yeah, yeah. There's so many extras and alternates in that deck. The only other deck that I've known like it is this one, the Orphic Tarot. Does anyone know this deck? This is another one that I've done a walkthrough of. This is a beautiful deck. I love this because I love Greek mythology. But so so I've got them separated out by the book. So this is the deck. And just to kind of let you quickly see the style of the deck. Uh, this is kind of what we're working with. It's the same creator that did Ariadne's Web or something like that. And then these are the extra cards that you get. There's pretty much an entire extra major arcana because there's that many alternative trump cards. So yeah, this has got a lot of extras as well. So yeah, interestingly, I do keep them in the box. But that is because, right, I see my justification as I only have like one of each. This is a 78 card deck that I use and I read with, right? And I would only ever have that. I wouldn't have like I don't know, 2 moon cards or anything like that. But because it's like all of the alternate cards, they're not extras, they're alternates. And I could quite easily see myself going and swapping in, you know, like maybe like a different death card or a different moon card or something like that. So that's why I do keep them in there so that I've got them to hand if I do feel like changing up the deck a wee bit. So that I don't have any problem with that, interestingly enough. let's just take some time to sort things out here. Dreamy Moons, that can go back up as well. Deanne says, I'm way behind again, don't mind me. Yeah, you've got a good right. Yeah, the Google Eyes Tarot. Yeah, I thought that. Tarot of the Silicon Dawn, sadly out of production, has like 97 cards total. I happily use it like that, all of them. Sorry, my throat's gone a bit dry. In fact, I might text Sandy and see if he can bring me up a drink. Well, you can see my phone. Just as well, I hadn't previously been sending explicit pictures to my husband earlier on this evening or something like that. You know, because I do that often. Uh, yeah, sorry. So, Laura, I kind of got sidetracked during your comment. Um, See, 90, I think if I was using a deck in that way like that, I would need to basically treat it like an Oracle deck. Um, I think if I was kind of considering that as a tarot deck, I would probably kind of struggle with it. Um, but then again, I use some Oracle decks like their tarot decks, so I don't know. I'll say it again. Maybe I just need to get over myself. I just pinged some cards everywhere. That uh, ladies and gentle envies, is what we call karma, because earlier on I was being very smug about riffle shuffling in a certain chat with a certain friend, and I've just riffle shuffled that deck and it's went everywhere. So don't be smug, folks. That is the lesson. And Deanne's laughing at all the devil cards. See, that's the thing about linen decks, as they are very slidey. Yeah, that's 3 of water. Um, so could you create 7 sins with the others? Good point. Your maths brain can't handle it. Yeah. I wish someone in Deviant Moon Group did it. Cheyenne says, I have to dash because my fur babies need out. This was awesome as usual. Thank you, Chris, and thank you everyone in chat. It's been an honour and a privilege. Well, thank you very much for being here, Cheyenne. And yeah, you enjoy your walk with your fur babies, and I will chat to you at some point soon, no doubt. By the way, it's getting quite late, so I'm going to just pop the banner on. If anyone does want a wee reading, if you've come here with a wee question for the cards, then please by all means do pop it in the chat and I'll pull some cards for you. Don't feel like you have to, but I always just like to make a point in offering those readings because, not because I like doing readings, that's like one of my favourite things to do. Bush Kitty likes to give alternate cards too, says Marita. Ali Man was fun to create my deck with all those extras. Uh, yeah, too bad your cup was so small. I know. You know. I didn't love the Orphic Tarot when I first saw it, but it's grown on me. I like the red and the black. Yeah, I love it. And see, because when I when I was at uni, I did maths and we used the Greek alphabet a lot. So I actually know the Greek alphabet, which means I can kind of work out what most of them are saying. Um, because it's like I said, it's a deck based on Greek mythology. And it's the titles are in Greek letters. Um, but yeah, actually, that was one of the things that drew me to the deck that I quite liked about it. I haven't set my Allymans yet. I'm still just using the whole thing, says Deanne. Mine's is a T Sandy, says Tony. Um, I do shuffle in those 10 Oracle and the TDL. Triumph de la Luna. I would like more exposure to majors decks, says Robin. I only have about 6 and never seem to find anybody doing flip throughs. Fair enough. Um, yeah, I mean, I suppose any deck can be a majors only. That's the thing, isn't it? I suppose many people won't create majors only because, I mean, I think the majority of people, for the majority of time, will use full tarot decks. And if any, that's the thing, when you create a full tarot deck, if someone wants to use it as a majors only, they can't. If you create a majors only and they want to use it as a full tarot deck, they're not able to. So that I suppose that's maybe why we see more full tarot decks because it gives the option. Um, so yeah, maybe that's why we don't see as we're not exposed to as many majors only. I have a couple of Minchiati style decks that I use. I think the only Minchiati I have is the Dinosaur Marseille Tarot. It's on there somewhere, but I'm not sure where. I moved all my kind of indie and more expensive tarot decks up high because my dog was becoming a wee bit of a wee bit nibbly. You know this because it was used that I think Robin, it was you that commented on it first. But my vintage decks used to be in this one, and that's right at her head height. So yeah, I moved them up so she couldn't reach them. But now it means that I can't see them while I'm sitting in my seat, which is a pest. Oh, it's very dark. Let's turn on the light. It's not really made that much difference, has it? I don't have Solabusca or Minchiati yet. Me neither. Well, like I say, I've got that Dinosaur de Marseille, I think it's called. And that's a Minchiati, but I don't have Solabusca. I need to figure out Holy Light still, says Tony. Yeah, and Robin, I think the only two that I have aside from yours are Mindscapes and Lost Forest. I have a walkthrough of Mindscapes, but still need to upload it. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. Yawning right in your faces. I think I've only seen them on NPC, says Robin. Interestingly enough, actually, when I was in Gran Canaria and I was in that wee shop where I bought the decks that I got, that had a kind of a Marseille style majors only deck, so it did. I didn't get it, but it had a majors only. I have Mindscapes also. I also have two from Il Menichello, the Hokusai and the little cat themed majors deck. That's another thing. When I was at the goth market, the tarot stall, Tarot by Peachy was the name of the stall owner, and she sells tarot online as well. If you look up Tarot by Peachy, you'll find her. Um, but she had a majors only deck, and actually it was kind of if I remember rightly, it was cat themed. So maybe we're both talking about the same one. It looks like it's meant to be Rider Waite Smith, like it's got like the titles, but the images are just different. Is that the right one, Laura? Are we talking about the same one? Um, the Triumphs by Gazelum Ale is a fab measures. Gazalum. Um, so Debbie says, my son's wedding is a week from tomorrow. How will this week play out for me? Oh, the week in the lead up to the wedding, eh? Let's have a wee look. How is the next looking for Debbie? Um, so let's see, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So in actual fact, I pulled up to the day before the wedding because it's the next week. But let me just change the camera around and maybe mess with this a wee bit. So see, maybe I will zoom out ever so slightly. Okay, we've got, so the practitioners are the knights, the masters are kings. So the practitioner of air, or knight of swords, death. The master of water, or the king of cups. The source of air, which is like the ace of swords. The two of air, two of swords. The eight of earth, and the three of earth. So as you would expect, as we're getting towards the end of the week, we're getting those two kind of hard working cards coming up. You know, like the eight of earth and the three of earth. So this idea of like, hands to the, all hands on deck, really everyone kind of coming together and working hard to, all of the wee last minute things, um, that's the kind of a sense that I'm getting as things kind of get towards that, get towards the big day. So make sure that you give yourself plenty of time, I suppose, is what I'm going to say, because I feel as though there is going to be stuff to get done. And you're going to want to have plenty of time to do things and not, or feel as least stressed as you possibly can be. Um, we've got kind of maybe some more emotive cards like the death card, that's Scorpio, and the Master of Water as well coming out. And that's like for like kind of like very vaguely like tomorrow, Sunday. No, wait, what day are we on? No, this is only Thursday. So like tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this really only goes up to Thursday. Um, but in the next few days, maybe you're seeing the more emotional side coming out. The Master of Water is probably you, just kind of having to kind of manage the emotional situation. Be that sounding board, be that kind of a person who's there to kind of say like, everything's going to be fine. Stop stressing. Everything's going to work out. Just be that kind of a sense of security and I guess just like peace to them when otherwise it's going to be like quite a stressful time leading up to it, you know. Um, for the first card, which tomorrow, the practitioner of air, so that's kind of like your knight of swords. So like Lots of are you working tomorrow, Debbie? Because I'm seeing lots of kind of like lots of emails, lots of correspondence flying back and forward, lots of work being done. If you work at a computer and you are working tomorrow, then the practitioner of air would probably make sense. Um, we have the source and then the two of air both coming up side by side there. So normally the source of air is like seeing something in a new light, in my, the way I see it. It's like a new idea, or something new comes to light, and it forces you to think about something in a different way. And then two is you're then kind of taking that to the next stage where you're thinking about it and you're developing it. But sometimes that can lead to a wee bit of difficulty when we're in that two minds about things. But it's all part and parcel of the process. It's all just kind of a working through that new spark, that new idea, and thinking, right, what are the possibilities with this? What are the directions that I can go in? How can I take this forward? And, just to kind of bring it all home to re emphasize, we're getting some really positive cards coming up at the end, the Eight of Earth and the Three of Earth. So, you know, all hands to the grind, it's not going to be easy, like kind of a nice breezy time. There's going to be work to be done. But, I think it's looking good. And the Three of Pentacles is a beautiful card, as is the Eight. Um, they're nice cards, especially for something like this. Because in times like this, I think we kind of cling to to not, when things are all kind of up in the air and all over the place, we cling to the things that are secure. And that's the thing about the Earth suit is it tends to be that more secure. That it represents that feeling of security and um, just feeling at peace and feeling at home in yourself. So it's nice to see them coming out at the end. I'm just looking at the actual images now to see if there's anything that comes to mind when I look at it. What I would say, see when I'm talking about these air cards, the ace and the two. So do you see how in the ace, the thing it's almost like it's starting as like a blob of darkness. So I feel like maybe midweek something's going to kind of come up, and at first you're not going to be sure how you feel about it. It's going to be unfamiliar, and you're going to be like, oh gosh, like this is like it's like a spot in the otherwise kind of a quite nice looking landscape. I don't, I'm not really sure how I'm feeling about this. Give it a wee bit of time because, in this card, it's like the blackness is expanded, but we're starting to explore the possibilities. We're starting to see different ways that we can work with it. Okay. So your immediate kind of a reaction to this ace energy, this source energy, might be to panic, but I would say it's not necessarily going to be bad, it's just unfamiliar. So just be aware that something might come up through the week that's like that. But wow, I can't believe that it's only a week away. I remember when you were talking about it before, and it was like we were talking months and all that kind of a thing. So I'm excited for you that it's so close. Um, and yeah, how is your son and your, I suppose, soon to be daughter-in-law? How are they feeling? Are they excited and looking forward to it? Laura says the little cat one was drawn by Osvaldo Menegazzi, sorry. It's called the Mini Taroki Igate. Oh, okay. I don't think that's the same one then. I think that's maybe something different. Tony says, don't worry, Chris. I used to pronounce it Gazelle Amail because of his email address. I had no idea what what Gazelle Amail was. Now I'm pronouncing it Gazelle Amail. Gazelle Amal. Um, I hope you have a great week and a wonderful wedding, Debbie, says Marita. Yeah, you're working, but off all of next week. Right, okay. That maybe explains the kind of a shift in energies then. So starting out emotional, got some air energy just coming in to throw things up, and then you've got that kind of a earth energy right towards the end of the week. Laura has to run. It's been fun to hang out today. Have a great day and evening all. Thank you so much for being here, Laura. It was lovely to see you and to chat with you. And thanks very much for contributing to the chat and stuff. Oh, Tony's heading off as well. Need to sleep. Night all. They're so excited. Excuse me. It's obviously not got my message about the water. Anyway, they're so excited. She's a perfectionist and a worrywart, so she is running around getting everything done. Right, okay. Um, all the best to you, Debbie, says Deanne. Um, and Beth is off ski as well. Beth is heading, saying bye to everyone. Cool. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, guys, then I might just pop off as well and get that drink of water for myself. But I will pull a card for the weekend for us first. So a card to send us off into the weekend. Oh, we got the lovers. That's a nice wee card. So in this lovers card, we really get the kind of a sense of commitment, making that commitment to something. And you know, whether we see the lovers as a card about connections and harmony, or whether we see it as a card about choices, um, we need to make that choice to commit to someone else, or to commit to ourselves. There's nothing to say that this is necessarily someone else. But this makes me think of the commitments that we make. So think about your commitments that you've either made in the past and that you're maybe going to have to fulfill this weekend, or think about the commitments that you're making, because they're important this weekend. The lovers card for me is always about thinking about uh, deep inside, what do we want? Where do we want to take our lives? What direction do we want to go in? We really need to know ourselves, and be willing to put ourselves first when it comes to the lovers. So when the fool comes to the lovers, he's got the choice to go with the expectation that's been put on him by society, by his family, by his all of the everyone that he's come across to date, or he has the choice to follow his heart and go for what he actually wants. Okay. Um, so think about the commitments and the choices that we make, and think about choosing ourselves for once. We all have responsibilities and we all have things that we need to meet, and I suppose this is where commitments comes into it. But there's sometimes there's a way to meet our commitments, but also to to follow our heart, put ourselves first. So think about that this weekend. Is there a way that we can show up for everything that we've committed to and that we need to show up for, but also we can put ourselves first? So ask yourself that if you're feeling like there's too much on your plate or you've not got enough time for yourself. Ask yourself that question. Is there a way that I can meet my commitments, that I can still show up and do what I need to do, but I can also make some time for myself and follow my heart and do the things that I actually want to do? Now, as an example, tomorrow I need to. Tomorrow is usually my chores day, so I'll generally try and get some washings done. I'll get the food shopping done. Usually I've got my niece to look after on a Friday, but I don't have her tomorrow, so I'm going to have lots of spare time. Now I'll fill some of that spare time by doing some chores, but I'm also going to paint. I've been getting into painting with acrylics. Really, really enjoying it, and you know, really chuffed with myself about what I've managed to create and achieve. And maybe at some point soon, I'll share with you some of my paintings that I've done. Um, but that's going to be my kind of a way of like putting myself first, and just doing something because I want to do it. And you know maybe there'll be some dishes that lie and don't get done, or maybe there'll be some washing that doesn't quite get covered tomorrow. Because I'm choosing to spend time doing that, but that's okay because it can get done another day or it can get done later. I can still meet my commitments. I can still, you know, keep my house reasonably tidy, and yet have a really good day creating something nice. Um, oh, the answer is it's Father's Day weekend here, on Sunday. Yeah, it's here as well. Father's Day is the same in the US and the UK. Oddly though, Mother's Day isn't. Strange. Um, okay. I am going to love yous all and leave yous. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for keeping me company, for contributing in the chat, everyone. It's been lovely to see you all. Um, take care. Have a great weekend. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.